Welcome back to the Auto Obsessive Garage. Chadwick with you again for another installment of the Auto Experience series. And today, guys, we're doing a great vehicle. Fantastic review of this awesome truck, long overdue. This is a 2007 Lexus GX470. And let me keep my cornering prowess in check. I have switched the Comfort Ride suspension into sport mode, so we should be dialed in, guys, for some canyon carving. Regardless, fantastic truck on our hands today, guys. And what can I say? Just a brief overview of the vehicle. The GX470 is effectively a fancy Land Cruiser Prado. We never got it, but we did get the GX. Started in 2003. This ran all the way to 2008. Was the last model year you could get a GX470. After that became the GX460, and that one ran all the way to our current time, which is 2024, and the new one's going to be for sale very soon. Finally a model update with the new GX. But yeah, it was that 460 had some legs, didn't it? But the 470 is kind of my favorite, and I don't like how the 460 looks in comparison. I think the 470 is a more handsome truck. Especially the facelifted 460s with that Predator hourglass front. Didn't do it for me, guys. This is the Lexus I love. That middle, early 2000s. God, they just looked good. They just looked right, and they aged incredibly. But yeah, this truck does it all, guys. It's a luxury vehicle. I'd say that. It's got adjustable comfort dampers from sport to comfort, which is nice. Nice features like that, but the real bread and butter of this truck is the engine, the 2UZ-FE, and I've said it before, guys, and I'll say it again, one of Toyota's best engines of all time. Not just their best V8, one of their best engines. This 4.7 liter in this form puts out roughly 263 horsepower. That figure changes with SAE adjustments over the years, but it's up. So it's up from the earlier models, which had a 235 horsepower rating before VVTi, but I'll talk about that when we talk about the market. Has a great 5-speed gearbox, never hunting, never leaves you wanting, really good shifts, really crisp. Besides being luxurious and providing a very comfortable ride, the GX is quite off-road capable, and it has most of the goodies that you get with a Land Cruiser. So you do get the locking center diff, you get the low range 4-wheel drive gearbox. It's all-wheel drive all the time, just like the 100 series Land Cruiser NLX were. And that's good stuff. We've got a good amount of ground clearance. I think it's 8.5 inches, somewhere in that ballpark, which is pretty good. Obviously, the aftermarket has you handled, guys. If you want to lift this bad boy up and put some gnarly tires on it, do it up. A lot of people have. But yeah, it's got the chops to do off-roading stuff. It's got the chops to do very comfort-oriented cruising. I mean, it kind of does all the things. It's dead nuts reliable. Maintenance is nothing. Do your timing belts and water pumps. But besides that, I mean, you got yourself a heck of a truck here, an all-around great commute vehicle, adventure rig, whatever you want to do with it. You know, it's up to you. The market on the GX470, this gets interesting because sure, you can get online right now, find some early model years with 250, 300,000 miles, which is what you're mostly going to find, guys. These have high mileage, and they don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of that high mileage. These things go just fine. Most of them are in that 200 to 300,000 mile range, believe it or not, and you wouldn't even know if you don't look at that odometer. But yeah, you can find a $10,000 or less. You could probably find an 03, 04, a little rough around the edges, a little behind on maintenance, maybe not the best interior, exterior. And that's a hell of a lot of vehicle for that price point. Now, obviously, you get up to the one owner, later model ones, you're starting to get in that $15,000, $20,000 range, and that's about normal. The one I'm driving today, actually, didn't even introduce it. It has... It had 144K when I bought it, so pretty low. I think I'm up to 145 and change right now. One owner vehicle its entire life, so it's in pretty dang good shape, and it's a real nice example, and we plan to use it for adventures, hauling the family around, and just being a damn good vehicle. But yeah, that's how the market looks. Do I see these things appreciating? Possibly, with the new GX model coming out. It usually stirs interest in some of the older models, so heck, maybe they'll appreciate it a little bit, especially these really clean ones. Just also want to mention what a beautiful day in the canyon to be driving a great truck like this. Love days like this. All right, guys, on to the objective tests. Let's get our GX470 up on the scales and get the curb weight and front rear balance of this truck. At over 4,800 pounds, the Lexus GX470 really shows where the weight is from, being an all-wheel drive, 3-row SUV. For perspective, here's where the GX stacks up against some other vehicles I've weighed. Now, obviously the LX470 and Land Cruiser are going to be a bit heavier. My scale at the time, which had a 5,000 pound cap, wasn't enough. So it is a fair bit lighter than those vehicles, but you can see it is one of the heavier vehicles I've tested. Heft aside, the GX470 is a pretty balanced vehicle front to rear. With that all-wheel drive setup, that big V8 in the front, we're still coming in at about a 53-47 weight distribution. Not too shabby. Just look at the company the GX is keeping. These are legit sports cars. As you can see, that 7.55 run slots it nicely between a supercharged Mini Cooper S and an MR2 Turbo. Bonkers. Right off the rip, I've got to disclose that the GX470 drives far better than it has any right to. It's a 3-row SUV with a solid amount of ground clearance, yet it eats up the mileage like the best of them. The selectable dampening allows you to set to full comfort and cruise all day at highway speeds, yet can be placed in sport and provide a not wallow you to death cornering experience. Visibility is outstanding, a feature absolutely missing from modern SUVs. The V8 provides smooth but highly capable power, but more on that in the engine section coming up shortly. The GX470 provides a fantastic all-around driving experience. The exterior design of the GX470 is perhaps one of its weakest attributes, in my very humble opinion, but not awful in any regards. I find it to be a handsome truck, but somewhat soft overall in the looks department. The front end is especially rounded with its oversized headlights and abundance of curved surfaces. The rear, however, is the money. The high-mounted taillights, the over-exaggerated spoiler, the sharper angles. Very tough, very truck-like. These stylistically opposing ends of the GX470 still come together to form a solid design, but one that could use a bit of overall sharpening. Lexus interiors of the mid-2000s are a wash with soft leather and bold wood, and the GX470 delivers the goods. The seats are cushy affairs with enough bolstering to keep your posterior in the correct spot and provide road trip hours worth of comfort for up to 8 passengers if you have the third row installed. Controls are intuitively laid out as per the Lexus SOP. Nearly all surfaces are soft touch, and it's still a very attractive and luxurious space to occupy. Bonus points for having a cassette tape deck in 2007. Score. The power plant is the real star player in the GX470 roster. The TUZ-FE is one of Toyota's greatest engines of all time. Period. Not only is it an exceptionally smooth V8 with respectable horsepower output, but it's as bulletproof an engine as can be. Nourish it with routine timing belts and water pumps, and it will keep propelling this SUV down the road. The TUZ-FE outputs 263 horsepower and 323 pound-feet of torque in this application. This power level motivates this larger SUV quite effectively, as the GX470 has quite the brisk acceleration numbers, as evident in our testing. I can't stress how understressed these engines are. Most of these vehicles are happily trucking along with 300,000 miles on the clock. And the Best Supporting Actor award goes to the drivetrain of the GX470. All of it, every component. The standard all-wheel drive is confidence-inspiring in all weather conditions. Then, they throw a low-range mode in there for extra terrain conquering. But let's not stop there. We have a locking center diff to really laugh in the face of "thou shall not pass" trail signs. Whether it be a soul-sucking commute, multi-day long road trip, or mild to wild off-road excursion, the GX470 has you covered. Is the GX470 the best one-car solution? I guess it kinda is if you need an 8-passenger, off-road capable, comfortable cruiser with a luxurious and spacious interior and just plain dead nuts reliable vehicle. It hauls a ton of gear, or people, and ass without feeling like a bus. It is just at home on finely groomed highway pavement as it is on a rough, muddied trail. It's a low-maintenance truck powered by one of Toyota's greatest engines of all time. Fight me in the comments if you don't believe this, but if you need one vehicle to do all the work of a handful, the Lexus GX470 is your one-car solution.